Very good morning to everyone. Welcome to our very first roadshow for ScaleUp Malaysia Cohort 3. We'd like to welcome all of you who are joining us. We've got people right now on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube. And for those of you who registered early, there's a private room on Zoom where we have our partners there who are there to answer your questions. So for those of you who missed out on the private room, next time register and you'll get to go there. My name is Aaron Sama. I'm the general partner at ScaleUp Malaysia, and we got a great session for you today. First of all, I'd like to say how exciting it is to be here at Cohort 3. When we first started in 2019, we set a goal that we'll set up 5 cohorts and invest in 50 companies. We've done 2 cohorts so far. We've invested in 21 companies, and now we're looking for the next 10 who will be investing in, and we hope that's you if you're joining us today. Before we go through the program proper today, I thought maybe we'll start by sharing with you the agenda for today. And this will be just a way for you to understand what's going to happen and when we're going to see some very exciting people join us on stage here today. So we've just started with everybody coming aboard. I see people joining and adding comments in the chat boards. Thank you for joining us. What we'll do in a couple of minutes, we'll start a section which will cover about ScaleUp Malaysia. Well, I'll go through with you a little bit of introduction about the program, what you can expect from it, and what you can get from joining ScaleUp Malaysia as a startup or an entrepreneur. After that, we'll go through a bit of a program briefing. So once we've shared with you what happens when you join ScaleUp Malaysia, I guess the next most important thing is to figure out, how much time is it going to take? Is it going to take, a lot of commitment? And what do I get out of it? So Andre will go through a bit of a briefing about what happens in the ScaleUp Malaysia program. And then after that, we'll do the session that I'm sure all of you are here to hear, which is 2 of our founders, Amy from Batik and Hubert from Quadby. We'll be talking about how creating a community helped build their business. It's a really exciting session. These 2 are people that I've wanted to get on stage together for the longest time, and so we're really excited to get them together on this call together, where we can all hear what they have to say. And then we'll have Q&A with you guys who are sitting in the audience, who are listening and may have questions. So what I encourage you to do is, while you're here, and if you have questions, please feel free to ask the questions right away. Don't be shy. Don't need to wait until we hit the Q&A time. If you have questions, just drop them in the comment feeds. We've got people looking in YouTube, in Facebook, in LinkedIn, if you've got questions, and we'll try to address them as quickly as we can. And we'll get to them in the Q&A section where we'll answer them on stage. So please feel free to drop questions. Have any comments, please jump in and ask them as well. We'll be happy to get to them as well, right? And for those of you in the Zoom room, please do so as well. You may get faster responses because Zelia, Shanli, they're both there ready to kind of help you guys out, right? Okay, so with that out of the way, let's begin with a bit of a program briefing. About ScaleUp Malaysia, where we can explain to you a little bit about what ScaleUp's about and what you can get out of ScaleUp Malaysia as an entrepreneur. Firstly, who are we? We're an accelerator program that focuses on scale-ups. Companies with market validation, product market fit, revenues, awesome founders, and you must be ready to scale and grow up fast. We're really here doing this session with you here today so we can find companies who are just like this, where you've grown your business for some time, you've got some sort of growth, you've got some sort of traction, but you really are trying to get to that next stage. And that's who we're here for and what we're all about. We believe that the Malaysian ecosystem has grown over the last couple of years, and you'll see who is behind ScaleUp Malaysia in a moment. There are lots of great programs, early stage startup accelerators who help you get from 0 to 1. And these are fantastic. There are lots of great programs out there. If you've got a pitch deck or you've got an idea that you've been thinking about, there are great accelerator programs that you can go and join. Can help you get there. Then for those of you who want some training and coaching, there are programs out there in the market like the Magic's Gap program, which focus on market validation, business models, and scalability. There's also government programs and VC investors like MDEX Gain program, or VC investors who are all over the market right now who help you get Series A investments and above and help you scale the business further. We like to occupy just before that phase. We think there's a huge opportunity there for a lot of companies out there who just need a little bit of help to get to the next stage of growth. We found that founders struggle in 4 main key areas. Obviously, cash flow and funding. I think all of you will agree. If we were to ask you what your challenges are, most of you will say we need more cash. Sales strategies is another thing founders struggle with. Finding talent, adapting business models to help you scale. These are 4 key areas we feel are important, which all leads to effectively poor execution. And these are the kind of things that we want to help you with as you grow your business. In our program, we focus on a couple of areas. Firstly, we focus on gap identification, where we look into your business. We'll do like an MRI of your business plan, and we'll figure out where the gaps are, and we'll help you kind of fill those gaps in the program. We'll kind of talk you through building a scalable business. We focus very heavily on revenues because we want you to grow your revenue. And we kind of get you to that next level of growth. And what this could mean is maybe you're going to a new geographic region, building a new product line, or maybe it's raising another round of funds. So that's kind of what we're helping you do in the program. Also, we focus a lot on peer support. We find our alumni super energetic and super supportive of each other. It's great to cheer each other on. And so we have a great pool of alumni who's there for you, who can help you out as well. We'll also help you to learn from other entrepreneurs, where we'll bring experienced founders to come and support you as you go through the program. We also give you peer and visibility. So if you followed our social media, or even the social media of our founders or entrepreneurs who are in our program, you'll see we've sent them on as much of a media blitz as we can. Some of them appear on TV, some of them appear on radio, some of them are on publications that you can read, just to give them kind of a bit of a boost so people know who they are and so they can meet like mainstream acceptability for a technology product. We also bring in professionals, which we'll share with you later as well, and people who can help you with specific issues like finance or IP issues or M&A experts for acquisitions and IPOs and stuff like that. We also help you meet founders and investors, and that's kind of a core part of our program where we kind of get you in front of as many investors as possible, hopefully to help you raise your next round of funding. So who should join? Firstly, if you're a company that has achieved a level of product market fit, and you can demonstrate this, you can show us that people love your product and are using it, you're the kind of entrepreneur that should join our program. If you're generating revenue, a minimum of 300,000 ringgit in the last 12 months that we've put as a benchmark. And if you've shown any sort of traction in the last few months, maybe you're very new, maybe you're 3 or 4 months old, but the traction is really encouraging and you think you can hit these kinds of numbers, please talk to us. We are looking for companies who are able to grow. We're looking for strong founders and a strong team. We place really, really high emphasis on having people who are willing to grow, willing to learn, and people who are really driven and passionate about what they're doing. And if that's you, please sign up and apply today. People want to do regional scalability, who you're not just happy with building a Malaysian company or KL-based company, but you want to build a business that can go beyond our borders to the region and maybe even the world. We really want to help you with that. And if you want to have a large addressable market, you understand your problem, it's a really, really big problem, we are here to help you. This is our team. We kind of think of ourselves as like, a Swiss Army knife team that can help you with different things. We're entrepreneurs and industry veterans who've done different things over the last 10 years or so. Some of us are entrepreneurs, some of us have been serving in different capacities within the ecosystem. But with our program, basically what you get is an external management team. Together, we'll be like your chief strategy officer, your chief financial officer, your outsourced CTO, your CIO, CMO, chief commercial officer to kind of help you get to the next stage of growth. And really the team is somebody, all of us bring our own little superpower to kind of help you grow your business. So if you know some of us or you want to get to know us, please check out our website. You'll find out more information there about us. We've invested in some really exciting companies. In the first cohort, we invested in 10 companies, out of which 6 have already raised follow-on funding, and all are continuing to grow despite COVID. And we're really looking forward to this year's growth because we really think there's huge potential for our Cohort 1 companies. We just announced our investment in our Cohort 2 companies. We invested in another 10 companies in Cohort 2. We selected from 200 over companies. And what's really interesting is mid-program, 8 million ringgit was raised while the whole program was going on. So it's really exciting. Another thing that we thought was really exciting was Cohort 2 also showed a huge diversity in gender, race, and ethnicity. You have founders who are Malaysian, who are non-Malaysian, male and female, different backgrounds, different cultures. And we really believe that this is a real strong story for ScaleUp Malaysia, where it doesn't matter where you come from, we accept you, and we believe we can help your business grow. In Cohort 2, we also partnered with Quest Ventures as our exclusive partner. They co-invested with us in all the startups that participated in Cohort 2. So don't just take my word for it. Let's see what our companies say, right? Patrick from Thailand, who's our top 20 company in Cohort 2, said it's like an MBA in 3 months. Mo from Earth said they've recorded their highest revenue yet so far from being in the program. Penny from Homa said the coaches are very hands-on, and yes, we are. We're like your best friend, helping you every single step of the journey. And Hubert, whom we hear from today, said you usually hear about accelerators like this in Silicon Valley. Thanks for that, Hubert, and we hope to hear more from you in a bit. If you want to hear more, please check out ScaleUp.my for more testimonials. There are videos there. There are also blurbs there you can read. Or ask one of our founders how they enjoyed the program and what they got out of it. We're actively investing. Recently, a couple of weeks ago, actually, Tech in Asia said that we're one of the most active investors in Southeast Asia. In fact, we've done the most deals in Malaysia in the last year or so. So we're very, very excited because we're looking to increase this number by, to invest in at least another 10 companies in the next year. So how does the program work? Firstly, we've got our 3 to 4 month program, which is high touch program for 20 companies from across ASEAN, which includes you. Then we have program partners who add value and support to the companies in the program. This time we're partnering with Magic. As you can see, Magic's a key partner for us. Magic's a government agency that is focused on capacity building and helping you grow your startup from 0 to 1 and now 1 to 100. And that's why Magic's working with us. All companies who participate in ScaleUp Malaysia Cohort 3 will get green access to the NTIS, the sandbox, to help you test innovation, as well as the Global Market Fit program. We also have other partners that partner with us, such as General Assembly, AWS, and Stripe. So if you follow us on social media, you'll know we've done events with GA, AWS, and Stripe over the last month. They're helping in the various capacities. Hong Leong Bank is also involved as well. But these guys will come aboard and give additional training. So for example, General Assembly will come and help you with talent management, how to grow your team. YYC will come and support you in finance and how to kind of build a good financial model. JLPW will help you look at contracts and how to look at a VC agreement and what you get out of that. Then we also have investors, and this is a little bit of a secret. We can't really share who these guys are, but we've got not one investor this time, but 2 great investors who are joining us for this cohort. What they are is they're regional VCs with global reach. They have a strong portfolio of investments in Malaysia and in ASEAN startups. And they'll also be able to provide ecosystem access into foreign markets. If you want to find out who they are, we've got a launch event on the 24th of August. And I believe the team is going to put a link down for those of you who want to join us for the launch event in the chat box. So please come and join us for that event. You'll find out who they are and the value they're going to be adding to you as you join the program. Then we also introduce you to our demo day partners. Once you get through the program, we'll invest in 10 companies. We'll invest 250,000 ringgit in 10 companies. Then we'll introduce these 10 companies to a whole bunch of investors. So these are investors who have met our companies. Some of them are doing term sheets with our companies already and really helping them get to the next stage of growth. So if you want to be introduced to our program, we'll help with that as well as part of the program as well. So in conclusion, let's make this happen together. If you're looking for a structured program, 3-month proven program to help you scale, we're the place for you. We hope that we can help you with that. And you'll learn more about the program in a second. We also have a world-class team run by entrepreneurs and industry veterans. So if you want to work with us, we'd love to work with you to help you grow your business. We also provide strategic investment from top VCs and ScaleUp Malaysia up to 250,000 ringgit. We provide like an external C-suite, a team that will be with you one-to-one for 24 months post-investment to help you grow your business. And finally, we'll help you network with the ecosystem, with investors, with corporates, and with other partners. We're very excited to announce that as of today, applications are open. So if you go to our website right here, www.scaleup.my/cohort-3, you'll be able to access our application form and start putting in your application. We already have some applications that have come in already. So please go fast. Applications are coming really, really quickly. And we'd love to meet you as soon as possible to learn more about your business. That's a little bit about ScaleUp Malaysia, and I hope you enjoyed learning about ScaleUp Malaysia. At this time, what I'd like to do...
Hi, welcome to all of you here today. I am Andre Sequeira, and I am here to give you an overview of the Cohort 3 Accelerator program. Let's get started. As an early stage company, a lot of you will have many questions about what our program has to offer. Some people have called us intensive. Others have used superlative words like transformed when they've been through our accelerator. Others still have given us the tagline of being an MBA in 6 weeks. Whatever we may have been called, let me try to give you a better idea of what we actually have in the ScaleUp Accelerator program. Firstly, before we get to the program, let me tell you a bit more about the applications process and shortlisting, as well as the timeline ahead. Once we're open for applications, companies are invited and encouraged to apply early. Applications will close in about 1 month subject to us not filling all the 20 slots available. We will be doing rolling evaluations and calling companies to pitch after they apply, which means that the earlier you apply and if you consider yourself a great candidate, the higher your chances of securing a place as one of the top 20 companies. In the shortlisting process, uploaded applications are evaluated by our team. You will likely, but not always, get a call to clarify your application. Shortlisted applicants will then be invited to pitch. We will be having an official launch for Cohort 3 in the 3rd week of August to announce our partnerships and investors who are on board with us for Cohort 3. You should attend this if you want to know more about our partners and investors. My colleagues will be sharing the link for registration for the event on our social media. Do follow us on our social media for updates. After applications close on September 2nd, there will be a last round of pitching for the companies who applied in late August to select the final companies. Around mid-September, the final selection will be confirmed. If you're one of the final 20 companies, welcome to the program. Once companies are selected, we will begin the program with a kickoff that really sets the stage for the 20 companies. The idea of the kickoff is as much a get-to-know-you session between the ScaleUp team and the companies, as well as for the companies themselves to get to know each other better. At ScaleUp, we really believe in the idea and importance of learning from everyone, and that definitely includes the peers you find yourself with in the cohort. The first 3 months will take you through workshops, one-to-one in-depth sessions with the ScaleUp partners, and preparations for investment. I will expand on this part for the program a bit later. At the end of the 3 months, 20 companies will pitch to an investment committee, after which up to 10 companies will be invested in. Following on from the investment committee's selection, the top companies will proceed through the usual investment processes of due diligence. However, even during this time, the program will proceed with strategic planning being done between the companies and ScaleUp. Usually it is during this time that we will firm up each company's plans for scaling in the next 24 months. At the end of the 6th month or so, a demo day will be held for presenting the company's plans to other outside VCs and corporate partners. From months 7 to 24, the ScaleUp team will continue to work with the top 10 companies on different areas of focus, from product to sales and marketing, and of course, funding and financing plans. The ScaleUp partners all have expertise in different areas and will help you identify what needs to be done in their respective domains while helping you to focus on what is important in your company's early development. Let me now tell you a bit about the program. At its core are 12 modules that cover different aspects that early stage companies need to address. Once kickoff is complete, we will proceed with these modules that bring together a host of different topics that fundamentally need to be addressed by companies as they scale. A lot of these modules are garnered from the ScaleUp team's years of working in the ecosystem and understanding where the gaps are with a lot of the companies. In some cases, some of you with the background or having career experience may consider these as things you already know. However, founders with 20 years of experience have been through our program and have appreciated the depth and breadth of the topics covered and how the program has managed to deliver to them a pragmatic approach to thinking about their business today. Let me tell you more about how the program is delivered. There are really just 4 ways we do this, but all of them tie in together. Group-based training comes first. These are workshop-based sessions where there will be a trainer presenting some material. This is to set the stage and to ensure that you understand what it takes to scale a company and provides you the understanding of not just the what, but the why and the how. As part of encouraging you to think more about your business, assignments are set, structured in such a way to either confirm or challenge your own business assumptions. Things that you do here will also provide a setting for the next step in the program. A previous cohort participant highlighted the fact that unlike other accelerators, ScaleUp does not use a cookie-cutter approach. In one-to-one sessions, each company interacts with the ScaleUp team so that the team can understand your business better and so that the whole team can weigh in and help identify both gaps as well as opportunities that founders themselves may have missed. Finally, circle sessions are ad hoc sessions where we will be inviting other company founders to share their experience. This is usually related to particular areas of interest that the cohort companies themselves may have. With so much going on, some of you may ask if you have the time to commit to such an accelerator. Let me give you a rundown and month-to-month view of the program from a founder's perspective, and an indication of your potential time commitments. After the kickoff for the 20 companies, the program gets into full swing. Month 1 was described by one in our cohort as intensive. In actual fact, we generally have 2 half-day sessions per week in month 1, and including some of the time taken for assignments, your time commitment in month 1 could be up to 1.5 working days per week. In month 2, the group sessions slow down to accommodate the one-to-one sessions that you will have with the ScaleUp team. This is likely a less intensive period for the company, but on the flip side, a far more intensive period for the ScaleUp team, as we have one-to-one sessions with all cohort companies. Month 3 is really about focusing on the important things that go into your company's narrative. Let's not get this wrong though. Your company narrative is not just a pretty pitch deck that investors ask you for, but everything that goes into it, including your business strategy, go-to-market plan, financial projections, and product plans. All areas which we pay special attention to in our program. At the end of month 3 or early in month 4, companies will pitch to the investment committee, after which 10 companies will be selected as investee companies. From there on, the ScaleUp team will continue to work with you to month 24. Based on this, and if I were to give you an indication of time commitments in the program, it will look somewhat like this thermometer, with red showing a higher time commitment in the earlier months of the program. Well, that's the end of the program overview. In summary, we have a really great and unique program coming up, and hope you will be able to join us on this journey as a ScaleUp company. Thank you, and I really do hope to see you all soon.
Thank you, Andre. That was a really good rundown of how the program operates. And if you really want to learn more, you can go to our website at www.scaleup.my to find out a little bit more about ScaleUp Malaysia. We recommend for you to sign up and register and apply for the program, and we'll kind of help you through the next couple of phases. Right now, we've got a really exciting panel session, fireside chat with 2 founders who are part of the ScaleUp program and who are running really, really interesting businesses. Today's fireside chat is about how creating a community helped build their business. So first up, let me invite the first panelist. Her name is Amy Blair. She's the founder and CEO of Batik Boutique. She's a ScaleUp Malaysia Cohort 1 participant, and she's been with us like the longest, and she's got a really awesome business. So welcome, Amy. Hey, Amy, I think you're muted. Hi, Amy.
Hi.
Hi, welcome.
Yeah,
we can hear you. Yeah, it's great to have you here. So our next guest, and I wanted to call you on first because I want to get a reaction, is dressed very specially for today's session. He is the founder and CEO of a platform called Quadby. He's part of ScaleUp Malaysia Cohort 2. Please welcome Hubert, who's dressed very specially for today.
What's up? Hi.
Hey, Hubert. So it seems that in the technical rehearsal, you guys got connected and somehow convinced Hubert to come in Batik. So that's Batik Boutique that Hubert's wearing. So now I'm a little bit jealous because I should be wearing Batik for this session too, huh? I should. All right. Thank you, guys. Thanks for joining us. So I guess just a quick introduction about Batik Boutique. Batik Boutique is an award-winning social enterprise created to disrupt the cycle of poverty in Malaysia. You empower artisans from marginalized communities to produce fair fashion, home goods, and accessories made from traditional Malaysian fabric called batik. And Quadby is an app where students find like-minded peers and communities across universities. It's basically a social platform for them to interact with one another in university, right, Hubert? Is that a Quadby mug, by the way?
No, it's just a mug that I bought for 5 ringgit.
Oh, okay. All right. So I thought we'll start because both of you have a very interesting story with how you started your business. And maybe we'll start with a very simple question, right? How did you find your community, right? And maybe we'll start with Amy first, ladies first, right? How she found Batik Boutique. Obviously, Amy, you don't look like you're born in Malaysia, but you created a global brand out of Malaysian batik. So it's really interesting how that happened. Maybe you can tell a story how that happened.
Well, tomorrow is actually my 14th Malaysia anniversary, just to let you know. I arrived
Wow.
here, which is like most of my life. So, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah. You came here when you were 6, right? That's right.
I was 6.
Yeah.
So I was working in tourism, and then I found this gap in the market of looking for a quality produced gift and souvenir that was made locally. And then I was kind of like, why isn't someone making something better? We have all these artists here, you know, compared to when I was traveling the region and different things I would find to like send to family and friends. And then fast forward, I started a family here and was a mom and met this group of women living in the PPR flats, which is the low cost government housing. I asked some of them to teach me Malay because I was kind of bored and thought it would be fun to learn another language. And so as I was learning Malay, I started kind of understanding their stories and their struggles as moms and women and trying to provide for their families. And it really resonated with me. And I started trying to think of like, how can I do something that will help them have like long-term, you know, sustainability. And so we merged this idea of making product from batik. And at the time, it was really just born out of friendship and this group of women that I met, which then became a group of artisans that I met all over Malaysia. And it's become hundreds of artisans and communities and refugees and people that we work with, just trying to promote what is Malaysian, but at a global perspective and also doing good and giving back to the community at the same time. So it's really just born out of friendship. And I kind of didn't mean to start a business, but I got pretty excited about the business side of it and opportunity. And just, I really think that Malaysian batik has a place on the global platform. So I'm doing my best to try to expand that on behalf of Malaysians.
Wow. So when did it start? When did you meet the ladies at the flats, and when was that?
It's like 2010. I mean, I met them a long time ago when I was, you know, I was kind of staying at home for a while, taking a break from work with 2 little kids. And we just did the like mom things and trading recipes and talking about, you know, our families and stuff like that. And that's kind of how it all began a long time ago. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And since then, how has the business grown? Like, how big are you guys, and like how many people work in the factory now? Like there's a name for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I started very much from like a charity perspective and just kind of helping out when I could, and then moved to one community center that we set up in the flats, which then moved to its own sewing center. So we run a sewing training center now where women can come learn from that community about, you know, life skills and job skills. And then we moved to artisans at Batik, and then we since then opened 3 boutiques and have a studio. So now we've moved from just these women in the flats and a few artisans to, we've worked with over 200 artisans in Malaysia. We've trained hundreds of people in just skills that they can, whether they work with us or not, that they can grow in. And we've produced over 1 million handcrafted products that have been sent both in Malaysia and all around the world.
Wow,
so
that's amazing.
For, you know, a bunch of ladies in the village, right?
Very, very impressive and very amazing. I'll move over to Hubert real quick. Hubert, so Quadby is an interesting product, right? It's a social platform, and I mean, you're like what, 18 or something, or so tell us the story of how this happened, because I also know you've got a pretty funny story about how Quadby started.
Right. Sure. First things first, I'm way beyond 18, like way beyond that, but age is confidential. Let's just keep it that way. So the story was really interesting. So the year was actually 2017-ish or 2018, when I was at my family gathering, and you know, during Chinese New Year, we'll gather and there will be like 3-4 generations of children and people there. So apparently for me, I vibe better with the younger ones, like 16 or 17, probably because I'm young at heart. In a way, I like being funny and stuff. So I talked to I have 2 cousins, aged 17 and 18 respectively, and I think they're really smart. And I just wanted to establish that connection with them, but I didn't want to give them my phone number for very obvious reasons. So I told them, hey, why not you both add me on Facebook? It's gonna be good. Let's add me on Facebook. Let's talk. And both of them turned and looked at me with a very shocked face. And I couldn't describe the face. It is like the face of them seeing a ghost or something. And they told me this sentence that I will remember for the rest of my life. They said, who on earth uses Facebook? The 17-year-old said, who on earth uses Facebook? And the 18-year-old said, yeah, Facebook is for old people. So usually in this situation, what would happen is we would feel kind of offended that we are being called old person. But for me, I was just wondering, like, it just suddenly snapped in my head, and I asked them, okay, so if you don't use Facebook, what apps are you using now? And they told me, I'm using Snapchat, I'm using TikTok, I'm using Instagram. And then I told them, no, because I'm very passionate in the student market. I asked them, hey, what app are you using to find friends in university for the 18-year-old? And they told me, no, we use Snapchat, we use Instagram, but I know that's not the best platform. I think that doesn't really bring them to the community. I immediately saw an opportunity, and less than a few months later, I convinced one co-founder number one, Waiting, and co-founder number two, Kinshin, a couple of months later to build Quadby.
So basically what happened was somebody told you were old, and then you decided to build Quadby.
So out of anger, I built Quadby. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I mean, that's how a lot of innovation starts, right? Somebody insults you and say, I'm going to prove them wrong. Really interesting stories, guys. So both of you are building communities in very different spaces. Hubert, you're building a student community. Amy, you're building a community of these ladies who are looking for new opportunities in life, and they're going to help them get out of their current situation. How do you guys nurture your communities? Amy, how do you nurture these ladies, and how do you kind of help them grow?
Yeah, I think one book I read back in the day, I think even before I was kind of first getting started, there's this book called Never Eat Alone. It's by this guy, Keith Ferrazzi. And I really recommend it because I think in Malaysia, you guys probably actually really get this concept a lot more than I did as an American, because we tend to be quite independent and, loners about things, right? So, but it's this concept of like leveraging relationships and people to make it like win-win, and how to just do that naturally, like in all things you do in your life. And so I've always been a person, I think, just in my personality, that I just kind of made friends everywhere I went. So I wanted to figure out how to leverage that in a business, and how to leverage that in impact and community. So with our women, it looks a lot like really trying to understand. So for me, it was learning Bahasa. That was step one, and it was really going down to the grassroots level and like understanding people, as opposed to coming in with like solutions. I'm a problem solver, and that's, a very stereotype also from my culture, that we like to come in and fix everything, right? And I realized very quickly that that's not what this community wanted or even needed. They just needed to be heard, and they needed to be understood, and they needed to be valued. So I wanted to create a business that really did that. And so we don't bring in a new program or a new opportunity apart from their wanting it. So even when we moved from the flats, we had a little bitty apartment we moved to an actual shop lot for the sewing center. I had them go pick out the place and their buy-in, because it meant they had to walk a little bit further to get there. So I didn't want to, hey, we're expanding. This is great, guys. Look at this. I actually was like, do you want to? And I kind of waited until they complained that the place we had was too small, and was like, okay. But I make them part of the solution, I think is important. And then I think in terms of in our team here, because we have an office with studio and staff and even in influencers and people that we work with. I actually just met Hubert yesterday, but he's my new brand ambassador and he's wearing our shirt. So
awesome.
I think you just ask. I think some of it is you just ask and you just see if I think people really do want to help each other more than we give ourselves credit for. So it's just making friends and helping people feel valued and helping and being generous. I think that's another thing. Just being generous with yourself, with your time, with your product. If you're out there running a business, for me, it's these concepts of just generosity and and understanding and valuing people.
Right. And I noticed you picked up Malay, right? As a way to speak. So, you can speak BM probably better than me. But
Saya boleh cakap bahasa Melayu.
Wow, that's impressive.
Wow.
Wow, so it's really impressive. Hubert, how about you? How did you kind of nurture your community?
I guess one thing about nurturing the community is first for us, I'm probably one generation ahead of the community that I'm building. So they're all 17, 18, 19, 20-ish, and I am probably 10 years ahead of them, and my mentality, the way I think and the way I do things, it is really, really different from generation these days. So for me, the way I nurture community is in a way, I be very, very closely in touch with them to first understand what are their needs. And I think a lot of people, especially for younger people these days, they don't really talk about what they need. They talk a lot about what they want. They need a method of communication, but they want an iPhone. They need healthy, they need food, but they want snacks. So the way we do it is we relate almost everything we do with source of entertainment. We relate everything with entertainment. If we are hosting a webinar, we will always say this is the best webinar you'll ever attend. This is the most entertaining webinar. The speaker, yes, maybe he's the CEO of a certain company, but he's going to be the coolest guy you've ever met. The community people who attend this webinar they're all students and they're all amazing people. So the way I nurture is to provide them, I would believe, very, very rare and up-close educational opportunities with people that they don't get to meet often. That's the first. And second is using technology. What we do is we allow them to form their own communities and their groups of like-minded people. Because I don't want to be a dictator and come in that to tell the users or the members that, hey, you should meet this person, you should meet this person. I let them curate the community on their own. So that's basically how I nurture the community.
I also remember during our cohort, right? You did something really interesting. You joined TikTok. Right, and was that a way for you to reach out to your family? So just for those of you who don't know, TikTok, Hubert joined TikTok, and in 5 months he grew his followers to like 1 million followers. And now you've got like 2 million. I'm just assuming about 1.9, 2 million.
1.9, reaching too soon.
Yeah, 2 million followers on TikTok. How is that like part of your way to reach your community? Was that something you thought of, or is that something you just did on the side for fun?
Okay. I think TikTok is a hobby of mine that got really, really serious. In a way, it's like footballers, people play football and they got really serious with football and they start representing a state. But I just want to say that I don't do TikTok for a living. I run Quadby for a living, that's for sure. I don't do TikTok for a living. The story of how I started with TikTok, it was really funny. It was the first MCO. I was really depressed. I needed a place to voice out. So naturally, I went to a platform that none of the people I knew was on, and that is on TikTok. And because I was on TikTok, everyone I know suddenly joined TikTok. So we're talking about a generation of young people, Generation Z, age 18 to 24. There are a bunch of people who no longer cares how many newspaper features we are on. They no longer care how many times we're on TV. They no longer talk about positions. But most of them, they would look up on celebrity or influencer figures. One of the things they really look up to would be how many followers you have. And the more followers you have, the more so-called social status you have, the more upper you are in the authority. It's like a social authority. So at first I started for fun. I just want to voice out. Nobody in my team knew I was on TikTok. And until the algorithm, I call this the algorithm, was on our favor, on my favor, I started getting like thousands of followers in one night and 100,000 followers in a couple of months later, and then 1 million a couple of months later. And I figured out that is probably one of my best personal branding. That's my personal branding. And because of my ability to reach out to the younger people through my form of content, through my messaging method, this would inevitably, in a way, make me one of the leading authorities in the Generation Z, Generation Y category. And in fact, even universities and certain people in politics, they even reached out to me to ask how to build engaging content. And this also helps me build network, not just personal branding, network. It helps me meet amazing people. And safe to say, actually, 2 of the people I met on TikTok are our angel investors, funny enough.
Right. So I think it's really interesting that both of you started off by looking at the community you wanted to serve, and both of you had to learn a new skill to reach the community, right? So in Amy's case, it was learning BM and learning to speak BM. In Hubert's case, you kind of got into it for fun, but it became a great engagement tool. And I think that really says a lot for people who are trying to build businesses around communities. It's not about you sitting 30,000 foot up in the sky. It's about really getting down to where your community is and reaching them where they are and serving them better, right? Some people look at business and say, no, business is sterile. It's a cold, calculated process where you throw money at a problem, you use strategy, and you kind of, and that's enough, right? Do you think that this idea of nurturing a community has become like a competitive advantage to you? Or do you think obviously I think you're going to say yes, but I think maybe you can talk about how it's a competitive advantage to you versus like if you were to go and be a bit more tactical about it. Maybe we'll start with Amy.
Yeah, I mean, I think scaling is complicated in my scenario because there's so many humans involved in what we make. And when you're trying to scale, you need to do mass production and save costs and be consistent in all of this. So I think it's definitely got its challenges, but it's also the core of what we do and what our story is. So it's super important. And I think we just have had to, over the years, and especially talking about scaling, we have to think about which products and which things can the people we work with do at a mass level and do very quickly, and and can we make good profit on to do the programs and things we want to do and all that. So yeah, it's a lot of problem solving and a lot of evaluation and stuff like that. And it's not the most, like, my business in particular is not the most like business in a box type thing, but I think that's because there's just so many humans and things like poverty and stuff like that. Right. But it's super rewarding when you see like big orders get sent out. Like just yesterday, we sent out 200 homeware sets, which meant 800 placemats and like 2,000 coasters, all hand painted, all done in a pandemic when like half our suppliers were shut down and we had to like find boxes. And I mean, so you send it out and you're just like super proud of what you do, I think, right? And proud of the people behind it. So for me, that's like extremely rewarding to want to keep figuring out how to do it.
Oh, that's excellent. Hubert?
I believe our greatest competitive advantage, yes, to answer that question, yes, the community is our greatest competitive advantage, especially with the student market. I think only people who have dealt with the student market will know how tough it is to enter a university and work with these students. Because in universities, it is a lot about hierarchy. Even if you want to work with university societies and clubs, in a way, okay, it doesn't really make sense for us to engage with the management if you want to work with students because we're a tech company. It doesn't make sense. It's like I'm a student in a certain university and I want to use Tinder because I need a date tonight. I want to use Tinder. I need to talk to my management to ask permission to use Tinder. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. But whenever we want to work with students, they will always tell us they need permission from their university management to work with us, which doesn't make sense. But it allowed us to think really, really creatively. How can we, instead of going directly in, how can we go another way around through in a way, the Malaysian word would be through the back door. Through the back door, how can we reach out there? And that is how we work with social media influencers, and that is how my influence on social media has also helped me engage with these students. So it is really, really tough to go in if we can't be creative enough with engaging these students. And because of that barrier, the barrier to go into these universities and gain the trust of these management, to gain the trust, even we are endorsed by the Ministry of Education, and we know gaining the trust of the Ministry of Education is really, really tough. And even working with these students, it is really, really tough because they have so many available platforms out there. Why do they need another platform? But once we've successfully convinced them and acquired them onto our platform, the chances of them leaving is really, it's relevantly lesser, mainly because this is probably the only platform that they can meet students all across the country. So our greatest competitive advantage would be the network effect that is built from these students that joined our platform.
Great. Really cool, guys. I'm actually going to change the format a bit because I see some questions coming in that seem to be relevant to what you guys are talking about, right? And we got a question actually from Ahmad Azwar Zainuddin on Facebook, actually. And he was asking a question about how did you scale up during the pandemic, right? I guess the pandemic is still very much on people's minds, and there's a lot of fear that it's going to last a lot longer, or at least the economic impacts will last quite a bit longer. So, he says like, share your thoughts on scaling during this pandemic, and the natural response may be to be cautious or patient, right? Amy, we announced investment into Batik Boutique in April last year, which, as you know, was just before the entire country got locked down, or just about the time the entire country got locked down. So and I know you've had to kind of relook at your business model quite a bit because things that worked before pandemic didn't necessarily work while everything's locked down and the economy is kind of shut, right? So how did you adapt and how did you look at that?
Well, we worked together for about 6 months before that, pitching and going through this program that we want everybody on here to pitch for as well. and made 3 to 5 year business plans that are pretty incredible and like were wonderful, and which included opening another boutique in the heart of KL and expanding our B2B and all this. And then the pandemic hit and everything was forced close, and every like business plan I had made was like not an option now. And we didn't know for how long it wasn't going to happen. And then I got investment, and then I was like, well, I don't want to use my investment just to survive, because I worked really hard to get this investment, and the point is to scale. So how, so we pivoted quickly to get permission to, I had to first think about how to take care of the people I work with. So I needed to get them income. So we got permission with Meaty to operate, and we started making PPE gear, which has nothing to do with Batik, but it kept people employed that needed it the most, while I'm kind of like, I need to take care of their livelihood just to be able to think straight. And then that brought us a lot of good press coverage as well. And then when the concept of a reusable face mask came out, we were all over it. My team was basically researching every material, every lining, everything we could find, elastics. I mean, things we never even made before. There you go. There's one of them.
There you go.
That's the KL collection. And so we did that. And so we came into the market, and then we moved to e-commerce. Like, we had a website, and it was in my marketing plans with ScaleUp to try to boost our e-commerce, but it wasn't until maybe Q4 of last year in the plans. But, it's like, what do you have to work with? So we hired a digital marketing agency that actually our coaches introduced me to, and was part of the program of ScaleUp that we've been working with ever since then. And we pivoted quickly to just e-commerce and online, because we realized that was the only way to get cash fast. And since then, it's really cool. Within the 1 year, we've actually sent products online to customers in 38 countries. Which I think is freaking amazing.
38 countries. Wow, that's amazing.
Ordered e-commerce on our website from, funny places, So obviously we've grown that brand a lot in Malaysia. And so so B2C was not really our first focus in the ScaleUp program. We were going to hit up more B2B because they're larger orders for us. But that wasn't an option because companies were holding budget. And there weren't events. We also do things like, when you travel and want to take something from your company to give away, or you host a conference in Malaysia, we can, make you Malaysian gift stuff. So none of that was happening. And so we had to pivot to the mask in our B2C side. So we did that hardcore last year. And then, so that was big. And then this year it's still on, and we're still pushing our e-commerce. We have, had corporates come back, but we had to even revamp our products. So now for corporates, we do a lot of virtual team building workshops, because we realize they'll spend money to connect with their teams digitally, because a lot of people are still work from home. So now we're sending out like Batik kits and lunch. We're doing shibori kits. We've had to reinvent everything, even like pre-record our like workshops and stuff, so that people can scan a QR code. And, even now this week we launched a shibori face mask dyeing kit, where you can buy it for yourself at home and watch the little 5-minute video and do it, for an activity. So just listening and adjusting to like what type products, send your friend gifts, send your employees gifts, do activities together, these kind of things. We've had to just really restructure our product to try to push our B2B, but also a lot focus on the B2C.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yes.
And congratulations. I mean, you've done really well despite all the challenges that have been in front of you as well. Yeah.
Yeah, we actually had our highest revenue last year.
Highest revenue last year. Wow.
Yeah, it's the hardest I've ever worked in my life, but our revenue was the highest it's ever been since we've existed.
Wow.
So.
Wow. Yeah. That's amazing. Hey, and Hubert, when I first met you, the market was starting to open up. Remember the time we were allowed to kind of go and see other people? I think you joined the program. In fact, I think when you pitched, we could see each other face to face again, because, but then we hit, and we thought, okay, by the time we invest in these companies, lockdown will be over, and Hubert's doing like a college student app or university app, and, schools will be up and running, so no problem, right? But it turns out the lockdown has been prolonged. People can't go to university. So interesting to see how has that impacted Quadby, and maybe has Quadby become like a great tool for people to keep in touch, because I'm sure it's difficult for students who can't see their friends, right? Like, is this like the way they're doing it?
Yeah. I do remember the day when I went for the pitching. Those were really, really good days when we can all dress up and just go out. Good days, and we thought that was the end of it. And
you could wear pants.
Yeah. I could wear pants. Yeah, I could wear pants. So yeah, when we first met, I do remember that when we first met, we were in around 12 to 15 university range, And we thought it was pretty cool because we just launched a couple of quarters ago, and we did a lot of on-ground activation because we thought that is the best way to reach out to the students. We did a lot of physical acquisitions. We give talks in universities. We run roadshows. We do promotions. We hijack classrooms. We give out lollipops to people with the QR code, scan me. We put stickers in the toilet doors, mainly because there's a reason why you're looking at the toilet door. And when you're looking at the toilet door, there's a high chance you would need to stay in the toilet for up to 10 minutes for some obvious reasons. Otherwise, you're only looking at the toilet wall. So if you're looking at the toilet wall, which means you're seated down and you need to be in there for a long time, there will be a QR code there. And out of curiosity, people are going to scan the QR code, people download our app. And these are all the funky acquisition strategies that we used back then. And since the lockdown hit, we can't do any of those. None of those. What's the use of a sticker in the toilet, QR code sticker in the toilet when nobody's in the toilet at all? Like, we are Quadby, not Ghostby. We don't let ghosts, So that's the issue. We could use none of our user acquisition strategies, none of it. And it was just a crazy time. And on top of that, because of the lockdown, two of the brands that we were supposed to work with, they pulled out, and that was our source of revenue. Those were our biggest source of revenues back then. They pulled out, and our funds were running low at that time. Our funds were running low, and we really needed that funding from the brand. And we even talked to an investor in the States. We even talked to an investor in the States, and he had to pull out because he claimed that the Malaysian market is a market that he's not familiar with. And he had to pull up on markets not familiar with to reserve the funds. And we were just in a very bad situation. So what we did was we raised funds with our friends and family and angel investors to extend our runway to up to 8 months runway, to extend our runway. And then that is when we met in ScaleUp. So what has changed is definitely our user acquisition strategy. It allowed us to rethink how we're going to engage the users. So we are now a fully online first company, which means we only engage digitally, we only acquire members digitally, and it allowed us to work with a lot of great influencers, which is pretty cool because all along I've been the one who has been promoting brands and products on my social media profile, and I'm now looking at other influencers promoting our product, which is a really blessed experience. And we rethink our business model. Instead of helping brands organize events in universities and running affiliate programs for brands, we allowed brands to engage students directly into their inbox as a form of engagement or advertising. And this is what helped us grow over the months. As of course, for students' side, we see engagement increase up to 15% since the lockdown hit, mainly because we can't go out. This is the only place. And we're expecting our engagement to increase up to 20% by end of this month because we're launching, I can't tease yet, but we're launching a really amazing feature that will really change the way students are socializing with each other. So think of this as virtual mama sessions, and it's gonna overhaul the entire thing we're doing.
Cool. I think it's really exciting what you guys are doing in terms of going digitally, and well done with that. And arguably, this is a better strategy for you guys because now you can scale your business not just to Malaysian universities, but outside of Malaysia as well, because you figure out like a digital strategy as well. We got a couple more questions, and I want to get to at least one or two more before we kind of wrap up the session today. So there is a question that I think is really interesting. I can't really see who it's from, but the question is, community usually comprises a crowd of people and can be noisy. How do you manage the noise where instead of being overwhelmed by it, you're able to obtain valuable insights from it that helps your business? Maybe this time we'll start with Hubert first.
Right. I guess noise exists everywhere. What's important is we need to first understand that these noise contributes to what we call engagement. And all these noise, while people call it noise, that if we can pick up certain keywords from these noise, this could be used as a signal, right? So the way we do it is we allow our members to create their very own communities, right? And if they join a certain community, it simply means they're interested in that topic or they have the same interest in that community. And if they are engaged in a community of similar interests, like-minded people, it effectively helps them reduce the noise. So we are a community curated platform. We don't dictate what they should do or what they should join. We are a platform, and the community builds itself. And when they choose to join, what interest community they want, it means it is curated for them. So that is how it is curated.
Cool. Amy, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think for us, it's a lot. If it's on digitally, a lot, we hear some of this noise. And you just you listen, because you also need to be open to like, know, is that noise like something you need to like take to heart and like do something different about, or create something different about? So you listen. So I listen to noise, especially if it's negative even. But also, I think we always try to craft a positive response around it. Like, for example, if someone wants to, if we run ads and it's hitting the wrong target market and they're saying like, oh, Mahanya, you know, whatever, something, then we try to craft a response, because we realize like we make blogs about like what's the difference between real batik and fake batik. And then we try to use it as an opportunity to educate, because a lot of the market here doesn't even know the difference, you know, kind of stuff. Or, you know, or if we find a customer service issue, you know, you just apologize and like try to fix it and move forward. So those are the things I think we try to turn it positive, and also just listen, because maybe it is something that we need to grow from and learn from. And then if it's just like, if it's just hate, then you just gotta like, you can't be successful if you can't deal with, you cannot grow a brand or, you know, for yourself or your, you know, a product or something if you can't handle criticism.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You know what they say? They say you don't get successful without getting a few haters.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Okay, guys, I think I want to get to two more questions before we kind of wrap up the session. We're at 12 o'clock, so I want to make sure we can get to the questions and not go too quickly. So if you can, maybe we'll answer them as briefly as we can, but with enough content, then we'll kind of close up, right? So there are two questions that have to do with investors, right? So one question from we got as well is, what was the tipping point, or what made you consider equity investment versus like growing organically or via debt? What kind of made you go down this road? Maybe we'll start with Amy first this time.
Yeah, for me, I had already done the family, friends, you know, kind of thing. And then I knew that at that point it was investment meant partnership, and also getting me to the next level. I knew that I couldn't, but I also didn't want to do it on my own. So that was when I took equity.
And Hubert?
One word: commitment. Equity means commitment.
Equity means commitment. That's very interesting. And connected question from Carmen, right? Who I believe is in the Zoom chat. After you get your investor to invest, what difficulties did you face? How are your stress levels, guys? And what is your advice to handle it?
I'll go that one. I think I've known these guys for a long time now, and I've worked with them like from the first cohort, but I was even with some of them in other coaching programs before. So it's a relationship, and it goes both ways. And I think as a founder or CEO, you need people to speak into your life, and often you're the one speaking into everyone else's life and plan. So it's super important for accountability and just in friendship as well. For me, I wouldn't take investors that I didn't actually like, or that I didn't think that I mentally jive with. And also for me, it's not stressful. The stressful part is before you get them, if that makes sense. It's the program, it's the pitching, it's kind of like dating. Once you're married, you're sort of like improving the relationship, moving, growing, moving forward, those kind of things. And you're committed. It's what Hubert said. So I think as well, you need accountability. And for me, like, I don't generally like reports and things, as any of my investors here might know. But I think they show important data, and I think having that accountability and people that I need to like answer to is helpful in a business. And so for me, it's really good.
Cool. Yeah, I like the dating analogy. Yeah, it's true, right? Before you get investment, but once you, and I think it's really important for entrepreneurs, right? Like the people you choose to put on your cap table are people that are going to be there for a very, very long time. So you better like them, you better have a good working relationship with them. And I guess that's part of the benefit of the program, where we spend time with the companies for so many months. We get to know each other very, really well. So when the time comes to invest, there is that baseline relationship. So we know that we want to continue together rather than like a speed dating kind of thing, which is how a lot of investments go. Hubert, how do you handle the stress? And is there stress? Or not enough stress? Yeah.
From the start, from pitch until end, after investment money comes in, stress everywhere. There is stress. But the thing is, I think instead of stress, I think there's stress in everything. There is stress in everything. I am the least. Ask my team. I am the least organized person you'll ever meet. My table's always messy. And investment, it requires a lot of things to be organized, such as due diligence, all these things, from pitching to and due diligence. It is stress. But the thing is, I think we need to, Amy answered most of it, but I think we need to reframe the way we think. What we're doing is something we really, really love versus something we really, really hate. Whatever job, whatever work we do, even TikTok, even social media, everything, there's stress everywhere. But I would rather be stressed doing something I'm really, really passionate for and something I really, really like versus being stressed over something that I don't really believe. For Quadby, that is something that I believe with my entire life. If you choose end my life or end Quadby, I would choose to end my life, right? So that is how I manage the stress. I don't mean end my life, I mean passion. The passion and trust is how I handle my stress.
Okay, I think we've got one more question, which I think is a little bit off topic, but I'm going to get to it anyway, because I know some of, especially maybe Amy, and even Hubert, you as well, have benefited from different programs and different initiatives by the government. And obviously, this time in ScaleUp Malaysia Cohort 3, we're working very closely with Magic. What kind of role should government play in building ecosystems? And so maybe Amy can talk about how you've benefited from whatever programs that the government's provided.
Yeah, Magic is always dear to my heart as well, because they were the first. They taught me the terminology of a social enterprise that I was running, but didn't know that that's what I was doing, and really educated me. And I kind of grew up in that system and then was able to help other companies structure and coach them to do impact and do business. So I'm always super appreciative to Magic. I still work with them, now, and they were the first company that we received a grant from to help us expand to our first office space. And they really understood even the operational side of what I was trying to do, which a lot of grant-based things didn't, right? They wanted to help the impact, but Magic really understood our business angle. And so I think over my history is that the Malaysian government has been supportive. I think there's just, over my tenure, we've had different changes in government and things. And so my only struggle would be like, we might start one thing and then now that's off because this other thing. And it takes a new administration a while to get their head around it to then, make longer term plans. So that's probably a bit of reality right now, the past several years. But I think Malaysians and have great ideas and we have a ton of potential within Malaysia to do a lot of cool stuff. I mean, mine and Hubert's businesses couldn't be more opposite. And they're both like super cool and have a lot of potential. So when a government can understand this is actually a way forward to help us put Malaysia on a map, globally, then I think it's super cool, and that they should take part in that in whatever capacity they can to help entrepreneurs in Malaysia actually scale globally. So I think they should play a role in it for sure.
Cool. Hubert, you've gotten some support from MOE, right? If I'm not mistaken. How do you think the government should help in the ecosystem?
I think the government should be the centralization of resources, because they're probably the most connected entity everywhere. They're connected everywhere, and they have the power, they have the authority in almost everything. So I think the government should be the centralization of support. Because what we have right now, funding is scattered everywhere. We don't really have a middle person to bring everything in. And the middle person is usually always the private entities doing that. But if the government can step up and step in to being the middle person, it could be a powerful force. This is what I think.
Cool. Last question before we kind of wrap it up, right? There's a question from Abikuri about advice on building B2B communities. I'm not exactly sure what a B2B community is. Maybe you guys kind of have insight on this, but basically, how do you kind of, nurture corporates or businesses who kind of work with you guys? Hubert, you want to go first real quick about how you do that?
I'm not really too familiar with B2B. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm the right person to answer this.
Yeah, okay. Maybe I'll send this over to Amy, who works with more B2B corporates, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's still relationships. I think everything in the world is about relationships, really. It's fostering relationships. It's staying in touch. It's giving stuff. It's that generosity thing I told you from Never Eat Alone. It's like, hey, I was thinking about you today and I sent this over. Hey, I was, it's being on LinkedIn. It's just, it's the same type thing, but just talking in terms, you have to learn your audience, whoever's your customer, you need to learn them, and it's talking to them. So, it's finding out what's important to them and trying to meet that for them and just build that relationship.
Excellent. So I guess we've come to the end of the session today, and I thought maybe before we close off the session, I'll let you guys maybe have some final thoughts, right? I guess we didn't really talk about ScaleUp Malaysia as a program this round because we had so many questions coming in, right? So maybe you can share a little bit about how the program was for you and any advice you'd give entrepreneurs who are considering to join the program as they come in. We'll start with Hubert first. Yeah.
Right. I think the first thing we need to look at when joining Accelerator program, okay, my personal experience, I think sharing from my personal experience, where I expected when I entered the pitching room in Glow Damansara, I remember clearly I was in a white turtleneck, gray turtleneck with my blue color suit. And I remember clearly when I entered the room, I was expecting a grilling session, a typical pitch session where we are grilled on why things wouldn't work and all these things, a grilling session. But when I entered, I don't know why, but I felt really, really connected to every single individual there. I felt like I'm in a room, not with my potential investors, not with my potential coaches, but I'm in a room with supporters, with friends. And as the great Dominic Toretto from the Fast and Furious franchise would say, I felt like I'm in a room with family, with family. And that's, I guess, that feeling of being nurtured in that very short session. I mean, I remember Dr. Siva was very, very supportive, and Aaron probably knows us really well by then, so Aaron didn't really say much, but everyone there was really, really supportive. And I guess that's the feeling that we want when we join Accelerator programs. And two most important things when we join Accelerator, for me, when I join Accelerator programs, would be first, who are the mentors, who are the coaches, and who are the partners in there? Are they people with relevant experience in the industry? Yes. The second would be the companies under their arm. It's Cohort 3 now, and by Cohort 3, there would be over, I think, almost 60 companies in total. And these are 60 companies that we can leverage the relationship and connection on for collaborations, business, probably in the future, merger and acquisition, and many, many more. So for me, these are the two things I look for when I join an Accelerator program. And the learning experience as well. That would be my thought about ScaleUp Malaysia. I have learned so much that I think in my entire lifetime, I couldn't gain this knowledge anywhere else.
Thanks, Hubert. I really appreciate that. Amy, final thoughts from you and advice from those who are listening.
Okay, so I want to be the poster girl for ScaleUp Malaysia because ScaleUp Malaysia to me is the best program of any program I've ever been a part of. And it's a lot of what Hubert said. I think you will feel genuinely cared about, and these coaches and the investors part of this program are serious. Like they know what they're talking about, and they will push you and challenge you and help you. But at the same time, they'll get your back as well. And they want you to succeed. And they've coached thousands of businesses in Malaysia, have run businesses, have exited businesses, if you are a Malaysian company, whether you're Malaysian, like obviously I'm not, or you're just here running a business, these are the people you want in your corner, and these are the people you want to help you take it to the next level. I promise you. And I think that I'm not a very theoretical person. I'm an action taker and an executor. I get things done. And so for me, running a business and being in an accelerator program made my head want to spin because I was afraid it was going to be too theoretical. But everything that we even had to go through, all the courses and all, we use them practically about our own businesses. So even if you don't get accepted into the top 10, it's worth trying to do, because even if you can get in the top 20, that's amazing, because you're going to get such quality content that your business will be better for it. And they will help you get to there. And the content is excellent and the people are excellent. So I just say, if you're out there and you're even questioning, should I not? I don't know. Accelerator, what's that? Just put in the application, because if you can get in this program, you're in a good space.
Thanks, Amy. Amy Blair, Hubert Lee, thanks so much for joining us today. You guys were fantastic. I had a fun time this morning with you guys. Thank you all those who are watching. And for those of you guys who want to learn more, head up to our website at www.scale.my. You'll find out a little bit more about our program. Cohort 3 applications are open, so please take a look at that and submit your application today. And we're going to start doing pitching sessions with those who have submitted already. So we'll hopefully see you very, very soon. From all of us at ScaleUp Malaysia, we'll see you at the very next roadshow, which I think is coming in a week's time. We'll catch you guys soon with more great founders whom we can meet, like Hubert and Amy. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.